All right, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's an opening video. I know, gross. I like end games, I like middle games, I like tactics. I was just born to hate openings, I guess, but they must be learned. So today, my student or friend Dylan was like, I'm sick of my openings. I was like, that's a fair statement. He's like, can we change? I was like, yeah. He's like, can we learn the Spanish? I was like, sure. He was like, wait, let's learn the Evans Gambit again, because he used to play it when he was like 300 rating points lower, and he likes those types of openings. I was like, yeah, this will be great for you. So we're going to be discussing the Evans Gambit, but also, as you guys may know, if they go knight f6, you can't play the Evans. So rather than playing knight g5 or like d3, c3, castles, knight d2, rook e1, knight f1, fall asleep, we're not going to do that. We're going to go d4 and make sure our opponent's paying attention. This is still played at top level. It's not super common, but this is not even a dubious opening. I mean, this is not a dubious opening. It's a good opening. I promise. I'm going to pitch it to you guys. I'm going to sell you guys this pen. So what can black do right now? Well, they should take this pawn. So we're going to look over e takes d4. Comment down below your Lichess username if you guys want me to share this study with you so you have the lines. All the lines in this opening, all my rambling will be in this study. It's like the best. You can see the moves and not look or hear me. And, you know, some of you might like that better. So do that. Also, if you do give it a try, comment whatever crazy lines you get. I will make an opening video on it because, you know, if it's not too heavily trodden in theory, I think that's English, then it's fun. Then it could be fun. So enough rambling. If e takes d4, the point of this was a clearance sacrifice. So we're going to hit them with e5 and they're going to need to respond. Probably they're going to move the knight. The other moves they have are d5 or queen e7. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to say queen e7 first. If they go queen e7, the point is they're pinning the pawn. But how does it weaken black's position? It weakens black's position because his bishop cannot develop now. And so he can't castle, and his queen is in front of his king, right? That just sounds for a recipe for disaster. So what you would want to do is you would want to castle. Just get out of the way. They might take, right? And if they take, they lose their queen. And if they don't take, then their position is not coordinated. So white has a great pull in that scenario. If they go d5, what you want to do is you want to go bishop to b5, pinning them. Now when they move this knight, you would take this pawn on d4 and they're pinned. Promise you, they're out of their territory of knowledge. So at the very least, it's a fair game. And I can delve further into this line. But I want to show you guys the basis of all these middle games. And there's many, many lines to get to. If they go knight h5, you can start with knight g5. But the best move in this position is to castle. And then whatever they do, then you go knight g5, threatening this guy and that guy. And now you're safe. So them taking that pawn is no longer as scary. Bishop takes, queen takes knight. You're threatening mate. You're threatening to win the bishop. You're winning. I don't think knight h5 is going to be played that often. So just briefly touched on that. If knight to g4, they want to win this pawn. Whenever they want to win that pawn, you just need your king out of the center and you need their king in the center, right? That's common in all these e4, e5 openings. Because if takes, you pin them, they protect, you deny, and you win the knight. So knight to g4, not good. You just gain a tempo. Knight g8, you're going to be up 2 tempi. So all the middle game ideas will still ensue, and you're up 2 tempo. So that's not complicated at all. Knight to e4, just that don't look right. So what I would say about knight e4 is you want them to play d5. So to try to get them to play d5, you should play queen e2 attacking the knight. Now, if they play d5, you take en passant. The knight is undefended. You will be winning. So they have to go knight to c5. They just have to. And on knight c5, you should castle. So what to do here? Okay, they're probably going to try to castle. You rotate your rook over to the d file. You try to win that guy. Very comfortable position for white. If d5, you can take en passant. It's a game, right? We like games of chess. All right, what else? We went over queen e7, knight h5, knight g4, knight e4, knight g8. And we did go over d5. So that's all of the main lines. If they take, you should just take on e5. This knight is not great. Be aware of tactics, right? Like if d6, do you see what to do? Hopefully you said bishop takes f7, though I did not give much time or say pause the video. It's going to semi-resemble some lines in the Evans. Speaking of the Evans, let's get to it. Bishop to c4, bishop to c5. Now, if bishop c5, you can go pawn to b4. Are they going to take with the knight or the bishop? Mostly they're going to take with the bishop. 9 times out of 10, it won't even make a difference. You go c3. The nice thing about it is you're going to go b4, c3, d4 castles. So here, either they're going to go bishop a5 or bishop to c5. Let's go over bishop c5 first. You go d4, takes. Do not take that guy back. You got to deal with bishop b4 check. You don't really want to give up your dark squared bishop in the Evans Gambit. The line would be king f1, and we're not a fan of that. So we castle. Now, if they play anything else, crazy. I mean, full center control, no check. White is destroying. So probably they're going to take. What do you do here? Do you see the resemblance? Bishop takes f7. King takes, queen d5 check. You pick up the bishop. But there is a little bit of nuance here. If they go to the dark squares, then you take because it comes with check and you pick up the c3 pawn. However, if they go to e8, just try to remember to throw in this h5 check first. Because now, again, either you're going to pick up a tempo or you're going to induce this g6 or g pawn to move to g6. And then you've induced a weakness. That was a mouse slip. Don't do that. Queen takes bishop. And see, you're aiming at more pieces. You're gonna win the whole house. It's likely. The other move is bishop to a5. If they play bishop a5, you still go d4. They would be pretty wild not to take. They could go d6, so let me know if you get d6. I'll make a video on it. I'm going to stop saying that now. E takes d4. Castles again. You might be like, wait, but they could take. And you do not have bishop takes f7, which is true. You know, that would be a fair statement. So the knight guards the bishop on a5. That's the asset. But the con for black is that there is no knight a5. And you get a battery here on f7. If they go knight h6, not logical. Do you see what to do? Hopefully you're thinking bishop takes knight and winning this pawn with check. So they have queen e7 and queen f6. If they go queen e7, they do not have two defenders on c3. So we would just take on c3. And they have to take this knight right now. If they play like a developmental move, for example, you go knight d5, you're destroying them. Because knight takes, pawn takes, you're going to go bishop a3, rook e1, and win the queen or checkmate them, both of which would be good. So bishop takes, queen takes. Again, you're down 2 pawns. You have the bishop pair, though. I mean, look at the activity. This is quite crazy. Knight f6, bishop a3, pawn d6, strike. Right? I mean, look at the lines that could ensue. Beautiful. Yeah, I just thought of this one Bobby Fischer game in the Evans Gambit. You guys know that, like, queen h3 game? Beautiful. Okay, I think I made a video on that on this channel, but I can't reference it because I don't know where it is because I'm organized. Queen f6 is the other move. Okay, so you do not take on c3. I was like, yo, Dylan, do you want to go e5 or do you want to go bishop g5? He chose bishop g5. If you like e5, let me know. Bishop to g5. The queen has to go to g6, right? Because it has to still guard the pawn. And then you take the pawn. Again, they essentially have to take this knight. And this is a very comfortable position for white. You have so many open lanes, and it's not the easiest position in the world for black to play. Now, I think, yeah, I'm going to leave it here. h6, bishop h4. It's just, you know, okay, I'll play a couple more moves. So you're always going to strike on e5, just blow open the center, and maybe I'll leave you guys with that. Move 13, that seems pretty deep. So I think d4 is pretty uncommon if they go knight f6 in the Italian. Are you guys aware of that line? And yeah, maybe some of you know the Evans Gambit, but it's in a video, and if you happen to stumble upon mine, I hope you liked it. So I love endgames and positional. I would much rather do that. But if you guys like opening videos, I mean, if they're interesting openings like this, then I love it. But if they're scary openings like the Najdorf, you know, don't take my word on that. Go to someone who knows the Najdorf. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you always for watching. Have a great day. Boom.